Dann haben wir noch, was habe ich noch zu schauen? Ja, vielleicht den Noise hier, das Rauschen. Kann man wieder filtern, macht den Wind aus. Wenn ich dann noch den Step-Sequencer hier dazu lege, kann ich mir ein kleines Perkussionsinstrument lassen. Der Step-Sequencer schickt einfach immer einen Puls, wenn der rote Punkt beim weißen Punkt vorbeikommt, und die kann ich dann frei programmieren, diese Strukturen. Da lege ich mir wieder das Feedback hin. Das Instrument zu bauen und dann ein bisschen umzuspielen damit.
Hey, this is Vic Serby, Musikmesse 2009 with Bass Gear Magazine. And we're to talk about not necessarily bass guitar or bass amps, but a new approach towards bass, at least. This is the Reactable or Reactable, a brand new way of dealing with bass synthesis. So we're going to get a little demonstration. I'll just let this man talk because I don't understand what I'm looking at.
So what you see here is a modular synthesizer, but we try to redefine the way how to deal with synthesizers and electronic music in general, because I think people like electronic music. It's a very important style of today's music practice, but people maybe don't like that much to see people with laptops sitting on stage, and there is where the Reactable goes in, because we want to give the musician a better tool, a more expressive tool, rather than an office device to play, and also the audience a more impressive tool where they can see what the musician is actually doing. And what you see here is a classic modular synthesizer. We have a lot of modules here which are squares, round shapes, etc., and they all do different things. What you need to start with is always a square block here, which are oscillators in this case. So that's just a simple sine wave. So just imagine having a theremin now at hand, and you can change the frequency by rotating it. You can change the amplitude here, and you can put some vibrato on it, just moving it to the side. If you don't like this sound, you can maybe draw a new waveform. Let's go down a bit for you, since you're the bass guys. Put some. So now I'm...
What is that, some sort of a filter, a tone filter?
Exactly. So what you do is you always build and play the instrument at the same time. So what I have here now is an oscillator with a simple waveform I just drew with a finger, and here's a filter, it's a resonant filter, and I can change also the frequency here. Then I can go on building the synthesizer by adding an LFO here. So that's the basic setup we would have. Sound generator, sound effector filter, and controller here. But you can spin that further, just putting, for example, some cube here which has some loops inside. So you can pre-program your own loops into these cubes, and each side has 4 loops. So you can define your session. There are some instruments in between, like we had before was this guitar string instrument. So that's just a sound font. You also can select from a sound font database, and you can play this with some melody object. So again, I can go ahead and then just add some filters to shape this sound. So the Reactable is really intuitive, because it just can go there, some child can go there, drop some blocks on the table, and really start doing anything with electronic music from scratch. But at the same time, it's an instrument, it's totally controllable, it's not a toy. All those objects have the detailed functions, and they're really precisely controllable. So it's an on-stage instrument. So if you look back here, we had Björk using it for the last 18 months on her tour. So we have serious musicians playing the instrument. It's not a toy, it's a serious synthesizer. So what we see here at the moment, we are going to offer it now, because this was born as a university research project. So but now only 1 month ago we started our startup company, and we were going to sell it now. So this goes into museums, to clubs, to studios, to conservatories, for example. But maybe by the end of the year we are going to have the portable version ready as well for on-stage performance again, because that's what we do, that's what we want to do.
That's great, and it looks like something regarding the technology is this table is like a scanning, because I notice it follows my finger, and these look like the encodings that it reads these bottoms to determine.
It's a very typical camera projector system. So there's a camera inside, there's a projector inside. The camera tracks those objects with the help of those symbols, and it also can track the fingertips on the surface. So we use them to hold those synthesizer components, and we use it to do some extra control gestures with the fingertips as well. But everything is inside the table, so there's the computer, the projector, the synthesizer, the sound equipment, etc. It's all inside. It only has some cables getting out for power and audio. That's it. So
I got to ask the question: since this is a brand new technology, what's the current consumer price on this?
Yeah. Well, it's not a consumer product yet, so we are making it on demand. So it still depends on the kind of project where we are selling it to. But our plan is to sell it for the price of a piano. So somebody who can buy an acoustic piano will also be able to buy this instrument. So it's affordable, but it's not cheap.
Well, this is probably the most exciting thing I've seen for the whole show, just because it's so different and so unique and so innovative. I really see this going somewhere in the future. So. And it has to start somewhere, and it actually seems quite mature for such a brand new technology. Yeah, I watched you mess with this earlier, and it was very quick to recognize the cubes.
It is quite mature, because we have been using it for more than 2 years on stage now, and we want it to be mature, because it's quite embarrassing if you end up with some non-mature technology on stage. So it is totally robust, and as I said before, it has been used on tour 18 months in a flight case, and you can kick it if you want. It doesn't.
Well, I wouldn't do that, but yeah, it definitely has the feel of quality. I'm just messing with this here, and it's just very sturdily built.
This particular table is going now to a media art museum in Germany, the ZKM in Karlsruhe, and it will be there for 6 months. And you can imagine having kids jumping on the table, and it's really great for kids, because they really don't have any respect of the device, and they like it, and they really pick it up quickly. What is it about? So, and it's a serious synthesizer. So they can.
And I like the way everything's intuitive. Everything is based on symbols. You don't have to read complicated things. That's a waveform. This is a piano sound. This is a violin sound. And then the pictures of drums for the drum sounds.
So this instrument doesn't come with a manual. It doesn't need a manual. Oh. Would you buy a violin with a manual, for example? No. It's an instrument. You learn it. You find out how it works. You study it, and that's it. It doesn't have a manual. You don't need it.
That's great. That's really, really great.
Thanks.
And so. Is it Reactable or Reactable?
You can say both if you want.
So this is Vic Serby with Bass Gear Magazine, Frankfurt Musikmesse 2009, or the Reactable, either way.
Exactly, we are from Spain actually. Well, I'm Austrian, we're from Spain. So we built this at the Spanish university, so you can say Reactable as well.
Reactable. Olé!